All right, let's get after a daily trading recap for the 30th of September here, 2021, last day of the month, and great way to send it off to close us out here. 56 bucks on the downside after two stupid trades on CEI. Today is just the epitome of what I come to when I really don't have anything coming in hard that I'm very passionate about or predetermined from scans from after hours work preparation that I don't have anything to come in with the market with, and then I just see the prettiest pig there, and I think that it's a good trade thesis, and I say, well, anytime trading the biggest mover, right? It's not like a bad trading decision, right? And today is a great epitome of the reason why I take so many of these stupid paper cut losses just over and over and over again. And um, housekeeping before we get into CEI chart. SPY taking a little bit of a down day here. Coming into doing this recap a little bit before market close because we're heading out of town here in a few hours. So no recap for tomorrow, and gonna do my best to just take a good time off from staring at screens, thinking about charts and stocks, and spend some time in nature, do some meditation, searching inward for myself. Just taking time away from this because I'm continuing to do the same things over and over and over again, and I don't learn my lessons as they need to be taken. There's plenty of opportunities out there. There's so many different aspects and different charts that now looking backwards that I can see. We'll talk about CRVS, ILUS, different things that happen there, of and even so many more that can happen and that I just didn't realize in the time or just wasn't prepared for. And I can put that on myself too and use the excuses of I was a little sick this week the whole time. I was trying to get more sleep just to ease and appease that. And I'm still prepping for flight out today, doing packing and more stuff too. So the focus that was going into. But at the end of the day, there is no excuses. There is nobody else to blame for today's down day, for today's lackluster performance. I rated myself at I'm giving myself an F. I gave myself a D in my journal, but it's just an F in regards to preparation in the trades that I took. I'm not going to be so terribly down on myself and say that they were just so stupid and chasey. I'll get into the charts later, but I got to stick to what is there and hold myself accountable to it. I think the biggest part is so. I think going forward in the next month, I'll of course do the monthly recap over the weekend next week when I get back. But I think something that I'm going to start adding into my trading is if I don't have a hard set trade plan going into a chart before market open, then I am not allowed to touch it whatsoever for the rest of the day. So for instance on CEI, like today, I really didn't have anything hard or pressing that I was looking to trade on this one, and I think you could see that across the board too. That it was just going to be a kind of toss-up day. It was just trading really weird. I was convincing myself that I was reading the tape well, and I was watching the level two super hard and thinking that I was reading it decently, but I really was. It was just such a choppy day too, and I had nothing going into it. And I tried to trade off of that belief that I was seeing some consolidation or just little ranges to trade off of. But as a P&L will say that was totally wrong. It's so I think going something that I want to apply to myself temporarily and as a just rule set to reel myself back in is to say I've got to have some preparation going into each and every single one of these tickers because that works best for my mindset too. I know for myself that I need to have that preparation and time spent burning on the brain, just marinating inside my head of what the stock could do, just that little passive time thinking about it on the side versus when I see the CEIs today and too and think, oh, the price action's up, I could do it here, blah, 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 and convincing myself later that what I was trading was kind of there, saying I'm trading off of intuition, blah, 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 which is so false. And in the moment, it was just based on crap and BS and total. I deserved to take these losses on CEI today too. So I'll cover that more, especially in that monthly recap. But that's just what we're dealing with as of right now. Let's just get into it. We won't go over dollar volume as of right now since we're so far from close still. So CEI, I thought we could see a little bit more squeeze today. It was short sale restricted, of course, coming into or it is now short sale restricted, coming from 10% from the open. Am I right on that? Yeah, it is. The freaking yellow bar is there. But so traded this on the tick chart, of course, too. As of right now, we're sitting on, let's see, $1.5 billion volume at 14,226 Eastern Standard Time, which is pretty incredible to see. Still over 500,000 trades on this one. Tried to swing. swing 200 shares each way on each of these individual trades. And again, thought I was always say, hey, I'm going to leave it for a few minutes out of the market open, let it just do whatever kind of volatile craziness it's going to do. This first trade set, I thought, man, I was reading the level 2 pretty well. So, okay, bid's holding well. We're consolidating here. Failed to really break down again. That would entice more shorts to jump in on this one. They are looking for that morning squeeze to top into, or that, yeah, there's just a little quick little peak after this little hard sell off yesterday, the craziness of yesterday. Thought we could get a little bit more continuation after that, which was pretty chasey even of itself, even though this was decent amount of trading in a little bit of consolidation range, and it was holding that well. Then just eventually ended up breaking down, and knew when to cut my losses well on that first trade because I saved myself from taking that huge slippage under VWAP, which a lot of other stops were obviously basing their trades off of too, and or basically other shorts just jumping in, piling on top of that, slamming it to the downside, and then it had a hard ride down, far down back underneath VWAP within pretty much that same 1-2 minute time frame. So let it play out continually more and more. Thought it was holding pretty well, kind of like a dip and rip setup almost, that it was under VWAP and just teasing shorts almost, that it wasn't breaking down so extremely hard, and then it was just allowing a little bit more time for more shorts to jump in on this one. So just held myself, even in pre-market too. I was so tempted, especially as we're getting this little spike back above VWAP. I think Jack number 2 even got a little position here around this like 395 point to play it to the long side a little bit. Just held myself back with every ounce of strength that I could to not play it, because I knew I should not be trading this one in pre-market. I just didn't carry that mentality over into, I shouldn't be trading this one in market hours anyway, either, without a plan on it. So then tried again for this little dip and rip attempt. We got the actual breakout pretty much immediately after that point. So that was good timing in a sense of when it should have happened. We get, this little bit of a higher low off of this base here. You get that kind of fake out breakout attempt of VWAP that pulls back a little bit more consolidation range. Good entry point around there, like 402. You get the push attempt, but then just get slammed down, rejected. So then I get stopped out at what is the easiest stop out point that pretty much immediately perks right back to VWAP. It just magnetizes directly to where my stop was mentally, and I think physically I had a stop actually right there, of a stop that was so easy to define, and where everybody and their grandma obviously had stops that were trying to play to the long side at that point too, of risking, this little basing double bottom here. How easy of a pick off that was for me in that sense too. So another learning lesson on that one. But so I think that one was a higher percentage downside trade than that first initial one too. So ended up that $56 loss in total on those ones, and that was, I knew too, that was just it for me for the day, especially. Just cut it off. I take a break. This is just not me. This is not how I want to trade. This is not who I want to be as a trader. These little in and outs, quick, and the difference too, I was reflecting on it, the same thing of when I come into these trades without a specific plan, then it's harder for me to detach a loss from my ego, from my emotions, because now that this entire trade thesis is really just me. It's just the emotions, and it's just the quick little, flashes of dopamine that I try to fill in that. And then when I'm forced to take a loss and cut losses quickly and stick to a reasonable risk set at that point too, even though it's a dumb entry but a smart cut risk level, it's so much, it taints my view of myself more, because I can't detach that loss from just saying, oh, there was the wrong trade thesis on that one, and then adjusting and experimenting more with the data on the trade thesis itself. So we're, relating back to maybe USWS from yesterday. If that trade didn't end up working out, that's pretty down today. I didn't see that. So if this dollar battle here of yesterday on USWS, if this trade hadn't have worked out, rejected $1, pulled back, did whatever the rest of the day, I can live with that, and I can learn from that to say, okay, what variables went into that pattern today? What's, just breaking down every single thing and having an easier mission debrief on this trade as compared to trying to break down CEI when it was totally based on emotion. And this trade was based far more on my ego and lack of preparation into it. Whereas now there's really no data for me to break down. It was just like, oh, I took 2 losses from myself. It's not like I can adjust anything. It's not, what do I adjust? What do I do? Because it was all just based on me. And I think the limiting factor in all this is got to be how and when I trade. So that's why I mentioned in the introduction, I think going into the October months here, it's going to be critical for me to say truly 100% these trades, all of my trades have to be based on substance and cannot be entered in an already chasing mood. The entry, especially of how I initiate the trade, and as I'm sitting in the trade too, that carries me for the rest of the trade. Really, how I enter, right? Because if I'm chasing in if I'm entering the trade in a chasey mode, then how do I think I'm going to be in a relaxed and composition and intuitive mindset while I'm intra trade? That just doesn't make any sense. So that's just different perspectives and rattling off different things that I have to deal with going forward with my trades. And I think it's just 100% based on that substantial trade thesis that I can't be doing this over and over again, especially with pretty decent position size. It's not like I'm swinging huge, crazy position size, $800 position size each one of these are, but it's that's still pretty large, and especially for what is a really kind of speculative trade. I know I'm not trying to hit a slam dunk home run on each of these or any of these. I'm just looking for that quick little move, and I know I was 100% ready to start liquidating if the trade went in my favor immediately from there. This move from the second trade was not enough for me at that point, and it was extremely quick, that little perk as well too. But I was certainly ready, and I was ready on that hammer exit button to start getting out of these if they were there, but they just weren't. And that's the difference on taking my learning lessons away from this one, because what is there to learn from it when I didn't have any thesis going forward into it? It's based on nothing, and how can it hurts so much more because now I have nothing to correct upon it, right? So pretty long-winded and round-winded around there, but that was pretty much it. I want to keep this one nice and short on the day. I just wanted to mention, I mentioned earlier that there's plenty of opportunity out there. It's just identifying and being willing to accept that you're going to miss a lot of it. So like CRVS today too, an awesome short setup. It broke my stop yesterday for my swing, trying to risk that little 6.5-ish kind of key range area. Looking pretty weak today in the pre-markets. You get a nice and awesome little bounce or a little squeeze to short into as it pops above VWAP, and then it's just a slow, nice, continual bleeding to the downside. And it's still going down as of right now. It's 20% on the downside, I think, as a predictable, easy to read, not very, easy for me to say too, because I've never really done these ones shorting into a pre-market or a market hours little spike there and just holding for a longer term little intraday short. I've never done that. I don't want to start doing it, but yeah, we're down 23% as of right now with a predictable and easy to see pattern as a continuing run day, breaking of support level, end of a trend with lack of volume. Easy to see. I'm surprised it's going this much percentage move to the downside, but what a move there was on that one. And ILUS that I also mentioned, kind of a similar Mark Crook. I think he actually nailed this one, this 11 a.m. area dip buy opportunity as the shorts are piling in, covering in, and then by that 11 a.m. time frame just before lunch, they're looking to scale out of the position and cover up, and we're getting this nice little volume recovery today too, which again is surprising to see the percentage move bounce from that dip buy. But a little bit after that area, you get that curl, you get that confirmation that it's curling back to VWAP, and maybe a little bit of fake out here, but just holding nicely. The moves, the opportunities are there. It's just about being precise and being intentional with every single thing. I think that's the word of the day for me that I'll have to take away from it and have to mullinate over for the next few days here as I try to stay away from the market, is being intentional with every single thing that I'm doing. It's not, profitable trades aren't just going to fall into my lap. They may every once in a while, just like everything in life, but being a profitable, successful trader just doesn't fall into your lap. That's the perspective I have to keep in all of this. So that is it. I want to keep it nice and short on the day. Again, no video, no daily recap for tomorrow. We're heading out of town. Just going to take our chops as they are there. We are going to accept that this was the month. This was a terrible month, and another great learning lesson way to end off a terrible P&L month. But we'll break it down in that monthly recap, and going forward, just still excited, still ready to go. And it's, in the moment, of course, I'm so still disappointed in myself and just confused as to what am I doing? What are these trades? Everybody else and their grandma is making money. What are you doing? And uh, but it's just lies. It's all about perspective and everything, and understanding of the time frame and all this, to where I am in my trading career, and the steps still needed to be taken, that I'm going to take far bigger losses than this in the future too. And it's not the P&L that the profit or the loss size that hurts. It's just like I related to, just the fact that these trades and these losses hurt so much more because they're not based on any trade thesis, and I can't correct any of it because it's really me, right? And now the steps become, how do you control me, and the emotional discipline that comes from not trading something that you don't have a hard thesis on, not just seeing green and buying, even though you may be banking on a little bit of a thesis to say that that'll get you in the trade. But where I'm at in my position, it's just a continually growing process, and that's what it is. And that's where we're going to have to continue to come. I'm ready to come every single day, over and over again, through every single loss, and that's what it's going to take. So excited for that. And I sincerely thank you guys for watching for this short little quick video. We will see you guys for the monthly recap and the next daily recap next week, starting of October. Thank you guys for watching.